in favor?
Aye.
Or aye, one absent. Action determined in closed session, we had a student petition for reinstatement, and he was permitted to be reinstated, no conditions or anything. And that was for student number 19-21-22. Student expulsion hearing, and I need a motion to, for that permit to reinstate. Jim? Okay, second? More? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. One absent. Okay, student expulsion hearing, number 31-21-22, action for consideration of violation of California Education Code 48900 section F and K. It was voted to expel student and then suspend the expulsion order with conditions. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second from, all in favor?
Aye.
One absent. Okay, pledge allegiance.
Yeah, Williams?
You're on, please, thank you.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's my chair.
Thank you for everybody who's here tonight and who's viewing through video. Members present today, Mario is absent. Sunny is here. Dwayne Moore is here. I'm here, and so is Mr. Bender. Approve agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay. Second from Hepburn, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have reports. RTA.
Good evening. It has been something. I knew when I took this I would be this busy, but until you go through it, it has been something. And I just know if I talk to Jim Quellman about it, he'll say, that was a good week. And so, so I quickly wrote this out, so I didn't type like usual because I'm getting my classroom ready as well. And this is what I'm going to start off with. Thanks especially to Leslie for the professional development trainings, especially the math at work training that happened today and yesterday with a gentleman that wanted us to call him Dr. Buck. He was great and he gave us a lot of good strategies. Teachers, please attend these. Looking forward to the writing workshop on Friday. So again, thank you for the workshops this week. Friday, this will be my first new teacher orientation, so I'm very much looking forward to that. When I looked at the list, I have 2 former students becoming teachers this year. In 2016, I had my first former student become a teacher. I'll never have as many as Jim because he had middle school, they had all those classes during the day. But yes, when I see these 2, I mean, this will be, yes, I'll be very, very, very proud. And thanks for Kim Schmidt, my vice president, for helping me set that up today. And then just, beginning of the school. Monday, the first day teachers could get their keys and go into the classrooms. And of course, students enter on the 10th. Let's have a great school year. That's it.
Thank you very much. Yes, yeah.
Good evening, everybody. I do not have anything very big to report. I'm just coming back after being out for a bit. I just wanted to say that we've been working with the district still. We finally are wrapping up negotiations. I feel like things went really well. As a team, we feel like things went really well, and we appreciate everything that the district was willing to offer, and we're going to be ratifying our TA and some MOUs pretty soon. Looking forward to the beginning of the school year.
Okay, thank you. CBO report. Mr.
Alrighty. As Fallon just said, fingers crossed the TA gets ratified and everything, and there's no hiccups there. We had a couple long sessions there to get to the table, or get off the table, whatever. So not looking forward to going back. I want to say thanks, and I was hoping Keith would be here, but I've probably exhausted him to the point that he's probably asleep by now, but all of our maintenance and grounds folks, the amount of stuff I've been able to call them and be like, yeah, I need to get, can someone move 26 desks today to another campus? So can you find some desks for me to drag over? Thanks, guys, appreciate it. It's only 105 today, so, don't want the weather to stop you. So I want to say thank you to all of them for the hard work that they're, as we get into the final push before the start of school to hopefully have everything in place, as best as we can. A lot of PDs that, spent today over at Tropico a lot with the CSO training going on where they're in the middle of their 24 hours of training for SB 390 or 290. So hopefully, the next couple of days of that go well for them, and, glad that we had the opportunity to be offering as much professional development in different areas and for so many different groups this year, as we get back into the swing of everything and, try and live up to the vision statement of embracing the whole child. That is it for me.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Assistant Superintendent, Instructor, Curriculum, Ms. Lacey?
Good evening, everyone. I would like to say that our enrollment office is booming. There's busy every single day, enrolling. It's just nonstop. We are definitely not in any way, shape, or form in a decline of enrollment. Opposite direction, big time. I'd also like to let you know that the backpacks and all the supplies that we make and give out to our kiddos have arrived. I'll be putting those together and distributing them on Monday and Tuesday to our foster and homeless students. Sending out an email to let them know when they can come pick it up. I'm going to try to do some morning times and some evening times so that it's pretty easy for people to come pick those up. I've also been working on ordering any extra textbooks and materials that we needed that we might be a little shy on to make sure we're ready to go for the beginning of the school year. As people have stated, we've had lots of staff PD this week. So far, we've had the Math at Works training that Mr. Warfield mentioned, the CSO training. We've also had some NGSS science training for our 6th through 12th grade teachers. That was today. So the new curriculum for social studies that we got at the high school, they had their training today. Our special education new and returning teachers had a training that they were able to go to with yesterday. Tomorrow, and any teachers that have not signed up and that would, if you're watching and you'd like to go, we have the CHAMPS training. I also invited our ACES instructors if they wanted to come, which is on PBS, like behavior management type of training. That's tomorrow at Roseman Elementary School from 8 to 3. So, and it's going to be phenomenal. Mrs. Gates has had the training from this particular trainer before and is very familiar with her. I've talked to her. She's amazing. I am expecting fabulous input back from her training as well. We also have the Doug Fisher admin training tomorrow, the second part of that session that we've started in June. And then, as Mr. Warfield mentioned, there's a TK through 12 improving writing through thinking maps on Friday training as well. 2 different sessions of 3 hours, so we can try to get as many teachers in there as possible. That's just the beginning of that training. So, and then next week we do have our August 9th where we have for our teachers, the Doug Fisher, Kate Kinsella, or Joseph Asoff for math for the 6th through 12th grade math teachers, and those are just going to be a full day of great PD. And then on August 8th, of course, all of our teachers are going to be going to their site staff meetings and orientations, and we do have for our paraeducators and ACES instructors some ELD and behavior training as well for them on that day. August 9th. Did I say the wrong date? Thank you, Mrs. Gaines. So many things going on. It's really hard. It's super hard to keep track of all of them. And I've been trying to pop in all over the place and be everywhere.
They're the only ones that caught you.
Yeah. Plus, I have personally, and so has Mrs. Herrera and Mr. Irving down here, have been attending the FPM, Federal Program Monitoring Training, to get us ready for our review that will happen at the end of August, beginning of November. And then I think that's about it. So between all of those things, it's been a very super busy week, but I think a very productive one. And thank all of the teachers and staff members that have attended the training. I think it's been a positive experience for those that have been able to go, and I hope that they'll be able to go for the remainder of this week's trainings.
Next up, Associate Superintendent, Human Resources, Mrs. Hargis.
Good evening. HR, we have been very, very busy trying to fill our last remaining positions that we have available, both classified and certificated. We continue to have substitute teachers that inquire and apply to teach in our district, so that is a great thing. So we really appreciate the increase in the pay. That really has made a significant difference. And then I just want to wish everybody a great start to the school year.
Mrs. Gaines.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's so great to see my cadet corps. Am I kidding or what? Captain Wallace. I just want to say to all of our parents watching that, as Ms. Lacey said, our enrollment is continually climbing, and so please, if you have not enrolled your children, please do it tomorrow, Friday, as soon as possible, because we are starting to be somewhat impacted in some of our classrooms. So please get your, we will always accommodate everyone, but if you can, let's get it done this week. I also want to just say that we had 2 days of leadership retreat, and I want to thank all of our site and district leaders, because I'm telling you, I think you saw it, Board. The notebook was yay big, and we went bell to bell, and everybody. I mean, it was just like they received a lot of information, but we tried to make it a little fun, and we kept them fed and watered, and had some little fun activities in there as well. But they were very attentive, and I just want to say we have a really great leadership team, and I'm very excited for what they bring to their sites and also to the district. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of meeting the new teachers at Roseman Elementary, and we have a really great group coming, and a couple of them I recognize from way back when also, and we even have three young ladies from the Philippines who were present at the new teacher orientation, and thanks to Mrs. Hargis, who's really working to fill our openings, as she said. And we do have a lot of wonderful professional development. You've heard me talk a lot about Dr. Doug Fisher. He's renowned. He's amazing presenter on engaging students in the classroom. That's one of his areas of expertise. Dr. Kate Kinsella's, she's been working with school districts on how best to meet the needs of English learners for I don't know how many years. I don't want to date her, but I know it's been a long, long time. And we are bringing both of them to Southern Current, so we're very, very excited about that. I just want to say that it's an understatement at how hard everyone has been working. My classified, I mentioned something yesterday about, it seemed like there was a little water on the floor in my restroom. I don't even know who I said it to. This morning when I came into work, there were two of our staff members, and they're really, really making sure that I didn't have a leak or something. And I thought, wow, I don't even remember who I said that to yesterday. I was trying to figure it out, but I know our entire team is really, really stretched and in preparation of next week and opening our doors for our wonderful students. And I don't know if the cadet course had a chance to check out that new paint job at the high school yet. It's looking really, really good, is it not? So anyway, that's pretty much all I have for this evening. Mr. Vincelette, but I would like to give the rest of my time in introducing Captain Wallace. And he wants to discuss some of the magnificent awards that these young people have been receiving. Captain Wallace.
We're going to use a podium. There you go. Good evening, Ms. Gaines and board. Thank you so much for this invitation. It means a lot to be here. And we've had an amazing summer and amazing 3 years. We're going to share a little bit of that with you tonight. But first of all, Ms. Gaines had asked us to come specifically to honor a specific cadet, and that is Kea Quellar. And I'm going to ask her to come up here and stand by me so you can see who she is if you don't already know. Kea has received the 23rd Congressional Award from Congressman McCarthy this past year. For her outstanding leadership and service. She's actually the second cadet to receive this award. During COVID last year, Matthew Torres was selected for that award as well. In addition to earning this prestigious congressional award, Kea has been a 4-year cadet and student at RHECC. She began as a freshman in Air Force JROTC. Through the encouragement, she told us a story of a senior cadet who convinced her to join. She navigated and inspired her peers through the end of that program and the start of Cadet Corps. She moved from cadet sergeant to executive officer during COVID and Zoom in outstanding leadership to battalion commander and brigade commander. She was the first cadet in Cadet Corps history, entire history of Cadet Corps, to earn the new prestigious Recondo Award, which is named for the elite units going back to Vietnam and World War II. She was also awarded this Distinguished Service Medal, which is the second highest award in the state. Kea carried out all of her duties while also playing volleyball, captain of the girls soccer team, and completing college courses. Although she graduated, so she was done in June, she still went to summer encampment and commanded over 300 cadets in the basic training battalion or regiment this summer, as well as the second week, the mountaineering unit, which involved rappelling off a 65-foot rock. And they were awarded the honor unit from the entire encampment. But she didn't stop there. Although she's about to leave for college, she decided with a little convincing to attend the rigorous survival training and earn the prestigious Red Beret, which you see some of our cadets have. And you'll see a little bit in the video that in my lifetime experience, whether it be in the military or civilian, that is one of the most intense challenges a person could undertake, and they did. She will soon leave for UCSB, Wild Beach, Santa Barbara, and Army ROTC. Kea has forever left a high mark and standard for future cadet leaders to aspire to. Thank you so much for inviting us. I'm going to ask Kea to say a few words. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you all. So good evening. I am Kea Quellar, as you said. I had reached the rank of Cadet Colonel within 3 years, even doing on Zoom. And I also have been coming to Kern County District from Rosemont Elementary all the way to RHS, so I'm a kid from preschool. I'm so grateful for the community I've built here, and being a part of Rosemont community has definitely shown me how kindness and just being there for someone is very helpful. So I am so thankful, and thank you guys for caring about our students, because I remember being a student and my counselors were always there and always helping, guiding me throughout my college and high school experience. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
So, good evening, Ms. Gaines and board members. As you know, when Air Force JROTC ended in 2019, we had little hope. But since then, Cadet Corps has not only filled that space, but excelled beyond our expectations. More than 250 cadets have been part of the California Cadet Corps, and many more at Tropico Middle School. Our cadets promoted Captain.
Continue.
So I get. Our cadets have contributed over 200 hours of community and school service. We also earned a superior rating for the second year. One special highlight was when many EL students grow in our program. EL students? What? I didn't even know that. This summer, we had more than 50 cadets attend summer encampment. Many Roseman cadets earned special recognition. 7 RHS cadets completed the very rigorous survival training and earned the prestigious Red Beret, while 2 cadets also earned the Advanced Survival Beret, being first ever to do so in the Roseman High School history, as Cadet First Lieutenant Caden Shodine, the next commander, and Staff Sergeant Melchers. So congratulations to those two. Very glad I missed out on that one.
Should come back.
Maybe as an adult. Several RHS cadets are now serving in the armed services, Navy, Army, Air Force, and Marines. Others are attending college or working in the workforce using Cadet Corps principles of servant leadership. As Captain said, I will be leaving next month for UC Santa Barbara and Army RTC, hopefully to become a zoologist, but I'll be doing pre-biology and then hopefully leaning into zoology or veterinary science and medicine. So we'll see where I go, but I know I'm going somewhere. We want to say thank you to all of you, our leadership and our administration, for giving Cadet Corps a chance and believing in us. I will now be followed by the next battalion commander, 2nd Lieutenant Elias Lina.
Good evening, Ms. Gaines and board members. Our cadets completed another amazing summer encampment. Cadets completed medic, emergency medical responder, drill instructor training, law enforcement, marksmanship, mountaineering, and recondo. Our cadets started and developed the elite recondo training. Cadet Kolar was the first ever to earn the award. I was selected as the recondo commander. The training was rigorous and challenging, but in the end, we stood proud. Although everyone did not earn the award, everyone was inspired. For example, a young cadet was having a tough time with many events. She felt like giving up, but the personal attention from leaders, she gained confidence. On the final day, she completed the 65-foot rappel with joyful tears. Of the 9 encampment units, 3 was commanded by RHS cadets. Drill and ceremony by Ryan Melchers, who was awarded NCOA Honor Cadet. Mountaineering was led by Cadet Kolar and awarded the Honor Unit. I was chosen as Honor Cadet Officer for Recondo. This semester, we will focus on leadership opportunities for cadets through school and community service. Some events planned are the Armed Forces Day Parade, Extreme Team Challenge, Color Guard, Veterans Day Ceremony, holiday parades, and Race Across America. One of our cadets also has an opportunity to attend the Cadet Corps trip to India. My own vision for the year as battalion commander is to have each cadet with a 5-year and a 10-year plan. Another goal I have as the battalion commander is to introduce the college dual enrollment plan to give them college opportunities. I would like to introduce this to my cadets as I did my part in the college dual enrollment plan with completing my AA degree. Thank you again for your support, and I'll be followed by Battalion Deputy Commander, Cadet First Lieutenant Shodine.
Good evening, Ms. Gaines and the board members. I am First Lieutenant Shodine. Once again, this summer, RHS cadets completed a very challenging summer training of survival. For 1 week, cadets had a blanket, a water bottle, and a meal. Not 5 meals, not 6 meals. We had basic had 3 meals, and us advanced survivalists had 1 meal for the week. So we learned how to survive with a group as basic and to survive as advanced survivalists by ourselves. Our teams were together but separated by feet, and our advanced were separated. It felt like football fields away. We didn't have anybody by our sides. We had to learn how to work and survive and mentally train ourselves how to get through the tough times in our life. So we learned how to do techniques. We learned how to get water from the creek and make it purified. We learned how to get food from the earth and make it into our own. We learned how to be grateful about life more than some adults and some kids around America. You don't get the experience like this. This is a once in a lifetime experience that you can see by firsthand, seeing the cadet struggle, but also seeing us teach. We had a teaching experience in Advanced Survivalists. We got told, you're going to teach a class. We're not going to help you. You're going to teach it and learn by yourself. We had a group Advanced Survivalists got to work 2 days with. So it was like, yes, I get to see people. We taught these classes, but I think the best class that I've seen was Ryan Melcher's group. It was a mental health class. It wasn't like, you're going to get through this, but you're going to get through this. These are the steps. If you make a pathway, you're going to get to where you want to go, into survival, into life. Some people were thinking, this is just survival. I'm going to get through it. But it showed Advanced Survivalists a little more, that if you get through this training, not only are you a survivalist, you're a survivalist in real life, and you're going to bring it into your adult life. And you might train your kids. I'm saying train because, yeah, you parent, but it's also a training experience for them. Another thing is I am the state S2 for Cadet Corps. I have 1,000+ cadets that are cadet medics. I have Williams as a medic. This summer was very hard. I was in the med tent a lot. I was the head field medic, so it was the stressful thing. She was like, "You're gonna be the head field medic," and I was like, "What? What's that?" So cadet medics came to me and were like, "What do I do?" And I was like, "I have the same training as you," but it kind of showed that you have to think ahead of the game, and that meaning like even you have to take it outside of Cadet Corps too. You have to think the next step in your life. You can't just dwell on the past or dwell on the day. You have to think about the next step on what you're going to do. There's a quick story before I end. This summer was really hard being a medic. I've seen crazy things. A cadet tried to take her own life, and it was very sad. It was a really rough time. The next day, cadet medics talked about it, and it was a rough time. We all sat and cried, and were like, what did we do wrong? But our adult counterpart said, you can't change anything. All you can do is lead your cadets. Lead them to be positive. So at night, the adult had their meetings, and us advanced cadets had a meeting, and we talked every night. We got talked to about having them too late, but I don't think we cared. It was a great bonding experience. We took it very seriously, and we helped each other, and we taught each other, you're not alone. You're going to work with us, whether you like it or not. That being said, I love Cadet Corps. It's a great program. We are going to do bivouacs, the annual general inspection, drill competitions, individual major awards, and prepare for another great summer training. We want to thank you all, and a very special thank you for our amazing transportation department. I will now be followed by Command Sergeant Major Trenton McAfee. Thank you.
Good evening, Ms. Gaines and board members. For the second year, I was privileged to be a part of the amazing California Cadet Corps Marksmanship program. This program emphasized safety and proper use of firearms. Multiple cadets, Roseman cadets, have qualified in marksmanship, as myself. I have qualified as an expert in shooting .22s. Cadets are also able to compete in state competitions. A personal highlight for me is when I was chosen as the first sergeant for the unit. The head OIC on the cadets, which is the officer in charge, he was looking for a first sergeant / sergeant major, because it was thrown up in the air a few times, to lead marksmanship. And so he looked around and he ended up looking at me. And he knew my enthusiasm from last year, because I was very enthusiastic about marksmanship. I said, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to enjoy myself, it's going to be fun. And he chose me. I helped lead over 192 cadets. That meant that I was the one that was writing down who went to the shower, who ate chow, made sure people got their stuff ready to go. And whenever any issues came about, I got told, hey, first sergeant, where you at? Let's get this done. And so I ended up being the right-hand person, and I absolutely loved it. It was an amazing experience, and it taught me how to be the command sergeant major. Ended up giving me hands-on experience instead of just looking at a book. My hope, I'm going to say my hope for this one. My hope is to develop a competitive marksmanship program here at Roseman High School. That is my hope that I want to make a reality. We have great resources in Cadet Corps to help us move forward. We can even go to the college and Olympic levels. That's the extent that this marksmanship team can go. In the regulations for marksmanship, we are zoned in with sights for Olympic level, and we were taught to shoot Olympic level. So we can end up taking it to our adult lives. So we can't just say, oh, I just did this in high school. No, you can end up saying, I did this in high school, and I brought it with me, and I accomplished, I achieved, and I've grown. We plan a thorough briefing for you and the board at the earliest convenience. Thank you so much for your encouragement and support. I will be followed by the Battalion Executive Officer, Elena Williams.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I just got confirmation that I can do something that I love doing at the beginning of speeches. Okay. Good evening, Ms. Gaines and board members. Before I start, would you like to hear a bear joke? Bear joke. Okay. Why doesn't it matter if you put socks and shoes on a bear? Because they will always have bare feet. I love telling jokes before I start talking to people. Always lightens the mood. Okay. I am going to be briefing you tonight on our medic training and EMR, CPR, and our SORT stuff. All good stuff. I love doing this. Okay. Cadets who complete the medic training are instructed by some of the best paramedics and EMTs. This year was Chief Miller. He was probably one of the coolest people I've ever met. If you didn't understand something, he would take the time to take you aside and teach it to you. He would say, it's okay, just read this, come back to me tomorrow if you don't understand. That's okay if you don't understand, we always have time to teach you more. It was amazing. The training is very intense. It is very mentally and physically draining. It's a lot of studying, a lot of late nights staying up in your tent, lots of getting yelled at by adult staff walking around saying, hey, go to bed, turn off your light. And you have to say, hey, I'm a medic, I'm studying. Those who qualified are awarded the Emr Certifications. I couldn't bring mine tonight because every time I try to print it out correctly. And it's $5 to get it sent to you, and it is yet to come. So sadly, I cannot show you what the card looks like. And they are awarded the medic badge, which you can see here on my left side. Along with medic training, We also have CPR and CERT. Our plans for this coming year are to incorporate this training into our classes to have more qualified cadets to assist in school safety and prepare for future careers. The reason I did medic is I'm from a long line of nurses. So there's a lot of pressure on me. Join the nursing field. I'm not joining the nursing field. I'm probably going to be an EMT, which I want to be on the front lines in that sense. I want to be the one that says, hey, this is probably what's wrong, but we're going to let the professionals take over when we get to the hospital. I'm just going to keep you alive until we get there. In addition, Cadet Corps will be adding wildland firefighter course through CAL FIRE and the State Guard Team Blaze. As you can see, Cadet Corps is much more than a leadership and military training. We are training future leaders, as you can see by the people that came up. Kea, Shodine, Luna, Maccabee, Melchers, Foster. When they leave, oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure one of them is going to become president. Probably Kea. Probably Kea. We are very excited for the future, and we're very thankful for Cadet Corps. It did feel something that will never truly be gone in our hearts, but it did kind of take over. But thank you so much for your time. We could not be here today without your support. Although it would be impossible to tell of all the, oh my gosh, it would be very hard to tell of what all the cadets have done throughout the years. In these challenging 3 years, we have a short video sample of the year's highlights. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to say, Captain Wallace, I don't know how you can just sit there so calmly. I mean,
I've learned to hold back my tears.
I'm not sure I've learned that yet, but wow, what a group. What a group. Every single one of you. It just makes me so proud. Makes me so very proud. Doing great things, Captain Wallace. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, Captain Wallace, for how far you've taken this program. I'm sure you have a lot of good plans still to go, get these folks. I do like to mention this, and I did mention the last board meeting. We'd like to hear from the groups, okay? And that includes Cadet Corps, includes anything else. Because, some of the programs that are out there, robotics. And we'd like to give the leaders the opportunity to show their leadership in front of the board. And that's what I'm looking at to help. And I mentioned this for one reason. I remember when Superintendent Gaines and I were at the RMAC, and somebody got up and mentioned something that they want to expand, we need more buildings. Well, this is where you want to do the forum. We got to hear that from you, okay? We're just 5 guys and one gal up here who sit here, and we're representing the community, okay? But we don't know everything that's going on out here. That gives you the opportunity to let us know, and we really appreciate you doing that. Okay, so you're always welcome to come back. Just set it up through the district office to brief the school board. Okay, I thank you.
Hey, Captain Wallace, I just wanted to say, I am very interested in hearing about that Marksmanship program, so.
Me too.
Yes.
There we go. I'm very
Pretty
interested in
exciting.
hearing about that in the near future.
Awesome.
All right. Next up, board member communications, Dwayne.
Okay, so what, I got one question for you cadets. What's that rigorous training involved?
They can't tell you.
That's confidential. I'm just telling you right now, a blanket and a water bottle, and that's it. I would have survived. So, all can have that, and you guys keep doing what you're doing, because obviously you're still here.
I will, but for all of you, and this is no sarcasm, exaggeration of any kind, you're always welcome to come observe and be part of any Cadet Corps training. We've had quite a few this summer, school district teacher staff that were actually adult staff at summer training. So if you want to, it's either 2 weeks or a week of, I mean, you're living on the ground with them for the most part, but the survival part of it, you have to be there to understand.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I can't wrap my head around it. So.
Sneak them in cheeseburgers.
I have a hard time camping in Norfolk, so.
I'm like, sign me up.
Yeah.
But other than that, you cadets are doing good. I'm just gonna put it out there flat. When I first heard of Cadet Corps when ROTC was leaving, I really didn't have a lot of hope. I seen a lot of kids, you know, they were sad that something was leaving, and you know, I just thought, okay, we're never gonna get kids to join this. And here we are, look what it is. So I appreciate you guys. And to everybody in the district, we're a week away from today from starting school. Transportation, thank you guys, I did that job and I understand how hard it can be. So my hats are off to you guys too, and hope we have a good school year this year, okay? Other than that, I have nothing else.
I really enjoyed the presentation, it's fantastic. The young men and women are very impressive. I'm looking forward to a lot of the stuff you discussed. Do we do that first aid training in the schools? Because I walked into the classroom and I seen a bunch of dummies there. I thought I walked back into my 8th grade class, and that's where I was. But
right now, I'm going to be going through a training to where I can become a trainer.
Awesome.
For CPR and CERT.
Awesome. I think that'd be fantastic.
We do CERT, if I'm not mistaken, is Community Emergency Response Team. And it's really, what those kids starting to do is incredible.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm thinking, first thing comes to my mind is when we have the Great American Shakeout, Mr. Irving at the high school, wow, they should really be able to create a scenario where with injuries, make believe injuries and things, to really learn how to deal if we ever did have an earthquake at that magnitude. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Next thing is, I know everybody's working hard now, but thank you to our maintenance department, because I know maintenance, it's a huge amount of work, our janitorial department, getting things prepped and ready for this year. They are just working like crazy. I know they are. I want to just thank them for all the hard work. And I know the teachers are getting into the classrooms and start getting organized and cleaned up. And we've got a lot of things going on. I'm really proud of our district to see us coming together and working together. I heard some good things today, how the talks are going, and I'm just proud. I'm happy that we're getting it going and things are working out.
Thank you to all you guys. I loved everything. Like, I wanted to see the dog though. Is your dog?
He's at home.
Come on now. No, I'm just kidding. No, really though. I do want to see the dog. But I was with the survival stuff. I watched a lot of Alone. And I know I couldn't do it at all. I'm with Dwayne. Just you gotta hunt and purify your water and bugs and stuff. No, can't do it. But you guys are amazing for getting through that. And good luck at UCSB, girl.
Yes.
Thank you. Do it. Zoology, veterinary, all that stuff. Do it. I love it. And to the staff, you guys are working so hard. transportation, I went over there and picked up my daughter's pass, and it was so sleek, it was quick. It was like, what's the name? Here's this. And I was like, wow, this is moving along very well. And with the personal development and all the stuff that the district is putting together for the staff to get you guys ready, so we're up to date on everything and just really doing everything for the whole child. I use that, right? I'm excited. I'm really excited for the new school year that's coming up and all the work that we're putting together and doing. And I'm just looking forward to the first day and being there. And well, you guys, it's been a really good time. To everybody. Thank you.
To talk about survival, anybody heard of Lake Berryessa? Lake Berryessa is where the Travis Air Force Base does their water survival training. And I got hooked in by the water survival training group and got trained to participate in water survival. So I understand what you've gone through. The only thing we had an experience is one of our captains decided to pull the flare and we were in the water. That's all I'm gonna tell you. So I understand in water surviving and so it's tough, I know that. But when you get in the military, you're gonna have to rely on those wits. Staff, fantastic job this year. I'm convinced that we are going to become one of the best school districts around. I think with the training that the school district is providing everybody, I'm looking forward to a great year. I embraced the year of the child last year. This year is the whole child, which means what we've been talking about. Let's get everybody out involved. I love the Cadet Corps, and then I don't just say this because of that, but when I'm out of different stadiums, I actually do go and talk to the flag bearers out there, the people who are going to march out with, and I do talk to them a little bit. Being the fact that I am a veteran, but I do talk with them and just find out what's going on, how, what their plans are and so forth. And it's a lot of fun. But it makes me proud to see a lot of the youngsters getting into this program. So don't be afraid to come back. Talk to us. Okay. That's all I have. So we'll go ahead and move on. Comments from the public?
None.
None? Okay. Let's read that. Consent items A through L. Anybody have any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, all motion by Gunter.
Second.
Second by Moore. All's in favor?
Aye.
One ayes, one absent. Business operations. Mr. Irving on the girls softball scoreboard installation.
Alrighty, so I was asked by the board to present information regarding the girls varsity softball scoreboard. Back in 2016, 17, one of those 2 years, it's kind of hazy, it's been a couple of years. The district was donated a scoreboard for the girls softball field that is, obviously not been installed. If you go over there, you will not see it. Where, the large part of the installation is the making sure that it is, when it's installed, it's DSA approved. So that's kind of where the project fizzled out along with, some of the district's other financial woes from back then. Very cost prohibitive. If I remember correctly, the scoreboard is 8 feet tall and 24 feet long. So in order to make sure that it is properly and soundly installed, we need DSA approval and need to go out for bid, all of that. I believe our dwelling annuity the firm the district uses for architects at one point have had plans drawn to see, okay, this is what it'll look like. And that's about where everything fizzled out then. Right now, the lead architect that works for, or that the district works with, is in the process of looking at those plans so that we can have at least an idea of what they had back then. Where the proposed location would be right center field area where it is in the perpendicular to the way the wind blows out here, so it would, again, just structurally making sure that whatever is installed is, we don't create a very large wind cell that, takes out, a fence or a couple players or, turns into paperwork and everything after that, I believe, ISO. And then probably lawyers get involved. But all of this said, for backstory of, okay, what do we have and why haven't we installed it yet? Is to say the district's looking at, at finally getting it installed. So once we give copies of the drawings, we can have cost reevaluated of what would the cost be to install. Another potential concern at this point may be, given how long it's been since the district received the scoreboard, is just obsolescence that, technology has moved on from what it was then, and without it being installed then, and to get it done now, there might be some hiccups or problems there, but it'll be, something else we figure out along the way. So, are there any questions from,
Why, I know we got it, like you said, a few years ago, why now are we talking about installing it? What brought this up?
Kind of me.
Barbara.
Harder help.
Oh, this guy? These two?
the Stewart Cadets,
We also had,
But-
we also have had, not this year, a few years ago, a Title IX complaint because our boys' baseball field has a scoreboard and the girls' softball field does not. Since I've been here, I've been trying to figure out a way to get that scoreboard installed because first and foremost, I think it would be great for the girls' softball team to have a scoreboard. And I have discussed this at length with Raleigh, but of course, Raleigh continually reminds me of the wind factor in Rosemond and how we would not want that scoreboard to go airborne at any time. So it needs to be installed correctly with a design and DSA approval. That way it relieves us of the liability of if should something ever happen. But so I have a list of projects that I would like very much to finish. And then, of course, when Mr. Binsalette reminded me of the scoreboard, sort of amped that up a couple notches. And I'm thinking now might be, it takes a while for things to get through DSA. If we put it in DSA soon, would we have DSA approval in time to actually get the scoreboard installed before softball season for the 22-23
Are
school
we gonna pay
year?
DSA for all that?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Nothing's easy anymore. So it's just something that we brought for information for the board to, discuss, give us maybe a little direction or not, what you think. We do have a new scoreboard, but.
We've got a new old scoreboard.
Yeah. A new old
And my
scoreboard.
concern would be, is it outdated? Before we invest money to post that up, we need to see how outdated it's going to be, because it might be cheaper to just purchase a newer, smaller one and put that up. That's the only thing I would look into.
Baseball, softball scoreboards are fairly simple, like, other than maybe the type of lighting or whatever might be normally.
They're all the same, like dimension, 8
And
feet by
we
20
just don't have that guy putting the numbers in anymore.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more difference in that.
Yeah. But I just wanted to make sure that, in our discussions that we do take care of our ladies because.
Yes, I agree with you.
And I wanted it brought up so that way, now the information's to the board. That's what we did then. Okay. Robert?
Do you have an estimate on what we would be looking at in cost?
I have no idea, to be honest. Well, part of waiting for the drawings is to be able to see all that would entail and figure out at least rough cost of dimensions of the footings and everything else to at least have a rough idea, at least the labor cost and material cost, let alone the DSA and I assume soil testing, all the, you know.
You said it was 12 feet long
I think it's,
or 24 feet long?
I think so. If I remember what Raleigh said.
That's a huge,
Yeah.
It is
I'll-
huge.
I'll go over and double check it's been a while since
I think it's very similar to the baseball scoreboard, dimensions and technology wise.
Okay.
And we still use ours. I mean, it's very simple. It's wireless technology, and solar. With ours is solar, but I think it's, from what I saw, it looks pretty similar to the baseball scoreboard.
The baseball field was put up by a semi-pro team, right? The Ravens?
The
Paid
scoreboard?
for all that, the scoreboard
I
and the
believe,
lights?
I believe there was a donation from somebody donated the cost.
I thought that all came along when we did that semi-pro team in Rosebud. They came and put the lights and all that in for us.
That was before that, and that's all inoperable. I mean, none of that is any longer, there's still a panel over there, but it has no electricity.
I know that team, I think they played one game.
It was a good game. It was a good game when I was there.
I still have one of the baseballs from it.
So Robert, if you could, please, would you look to see, take a look at that scoreboard and
Yes.
to see what we are, maybe get some measurements and what we are up against before the 17th?
Okay.
45-day budget revision?
Alrighty. So, let me make sure I get the wording of this correctly before I speak. Alright, so. Annually, the school district's adopted budget is is done prior to the state's adopted budget. If you remember from the public hearing and then the adoption, as I told you what our budget's going to be, I prefaced that with the numbers are going to change as soon as I finish this presentation, and a couple days later they did. So, per Education Code 42127, it's required that districts no later than 45 days after the state's budget is passed make available any revisions to revenues and expenditures that are because of the change in state budget. For this year, the 45-day cutoff would be August 11th. So here we are, August 3rd, to make sure that I'm doing this before that and not on the 17th, a week late. This year for the information item, it is entirely revenue based because that's the state's adopted budget was included more in revenue than what I had initially projected because there were largely questions on the COLA for the LCFF base grant, where between May revise and the state's adopted budget, everybody knew there was going to be some sort of adjustment to the base grant. It was just a question of what was that percentage going to be. It was anywhere from 3 to 15%, depending on when and who was making their prediction. It wound up being 6.56%, which resulted in a final COLA for this year of about 12.8% between the statutory COLA and then that LCFF base on top of that. For the sake of dollars, that's approximately $1.87 million in additional funding for Southern Kern Unified based off of the calculator done for the LCFF calculation. So that's the biggest part of what's revised is that, finally knowing what that percentage is going to be or, what it turned out to be. In addition to that, there were other increases in a few different areas. Special education base grant, not base grant, but base rate. Prior to this year has been $715 per student. That was bumped up to $820 per student. And then 3 additional areas of funding that, have opened up. There's a new COVID-19 Learning Recovery Emergency Fund, which is in addition to ELOP, ELO, IPI, all of the federal, too many acronyms to list, which will be funded up until 2027 to 2028 school year. At this time, it's estimated at roughly, over the course of that time, it would be about $6 million for the district. There's an arts, music, and instructional materials discretionary block grant that was included in the state budget that was not in my budget of funds that will be allocated towards arts, music, and instructional materials. Weirdly enough, they put it in the name. Very helpful for this one for me to figure out. But up until the district's approximate funding would be about $2 million, give or take. And we have until 25, 26. Both the arts, music, and the COVID-19 learning recovery are new as part of the state budget. So information on, exactly what the intent is and how to use it and the appropriate uses and all of that hasn't come out yet. So as more information, hopefully by first interim, I'll have more information on both of those so that when they get included into a multi-year projection, there's at least an idea of how those funds will be used. Additionally, the last big piece is the state legislature finally passed legislation regarding home-to-school transportation costs, where included in the district's LCFF base grant, our total funding for transportation from that is up until this year has been $415,000. It costs a lot more than $415,000 to run a transportation department, just in salaries and benefits, let alone, the cost of vehicles and maintenance and those little things. So as a part of that updated legislation, the state is now going to pay 60% less than the amount of already in the LCFF calculation of, so 60% less that $415,000 for the district, which is approximately $650,000 a year more for transportation to go towards home to school costs. So it's wide ranging from salary to cost of fuel, cost of maintenance, for expenditures that are tied directly to home to school. So not the ancillary field trips and some other stuff that transportation does, but solely the home to school portion. And that is it for my information there. Once first interim comes around, anything that's more set in stone will be included in that, not only in the multi-year projection, but in the PowerPoint that I do, just so that there's more definition to, okay, we got all this funds, how are we actually going to use it, or what are the plans for those? So, yeah. Any questions as I bulldoze through some bullet points?
No.
Sounds good.
RHECC change of subcontractors for the marquee.
Oh, okay, yeah. There we go. Action item. Okay, so for the marquee for the high school, the original subcontractor for the installation was Padcore. They have not been able to perform those duties. Quill Design that did designed the marquee and did the fabrication for it, and Padcore worked out an agreement of, okay, they're going to take Padcore off that job and bring in another subcontractor who has, since poured the hole, poured the concrete, gotten everything ready. We're in the curing phase of that concrete now to make sure that, once it dries, it stands up to the correct pressure test, I believe is what they need to do to it before installing the pole. But, so this is just a action for you guys to, approve the change so that we can, get the sign finally up, and it's,
That's what they're doing in the front of the school right now.
yeah, that's why the marquee that used to be in front of the high school driveway is no longer there, and the earth looks slightly more compacted there.
Is that the same budget? I mean.
Yeah,
raise the price
no
on it?
change in cost or anything. It just it speeds the process along and keeps us from.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
All right. Aye. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Personnel items, approve the following personnel items. Leanne?
I'm just gonna step in real quick for Mrs. Hargis, only because at the last board meeting, the board decided to table. There was some concern with regard to paraeducator movement from for example, there may have been a one-on-one that was moved to a classroom paraeducator position or vice versa. And so we met today with the CSEA, their rep from CSEA, state CSEA or regional, is it regional? Regional?
Yeah, it's our labor rep.
Labor rep, and also with Keith and Fallon. And we were able to, admittingly, we did not follow the procedure that we should have followed in this case, board, and, but I think that when Ms. Cheryl Taylor was making the movement, sometimes you lose one-on-one students, just to kind of give a brief explanation, and so as to protect the employees, we moved the employees in some other positions where she felt they would be successful for the year. We were very fortunate that CSEA gave us an MOU for the year to be able to keep those specific employees, and I believe it starts with, on this list, and Leanne, this is where you may correct me, I believe it starts with Luna and goes on down. I think that's the group of paraeducators that we were. Yawn, not Luna.
Yes, it starts with your yawn to Keith, so it's from here to here.
Okay, from yawn down to Keith. So we have an MOU that will be placed on the next board agenda that was signed by CSEA and myself, where these positions will stay in place up until June 30th of 2023. And at that time, we will either renegotiate the situation, or people, if they want to stay, they can stay in their new position, or we will return those who choose not to, depending on how we move forward with this. So I'm grateful to CSEA for signing that MOU with us and making it painless a little bit.
They're, it's helpful to hear both sides, because if it's just coming from, I mean, we're here for the classified employees, obviously that's our primary concern, but on the other side, we do want to hear the district side and the reasons for the movement, and I do believe that they have the best intentions, and the same with Kate.
That's all I wanted to hear. Thank you so much for working that out.
Thank you, Fallon, also. So I will, anything, Mrs. Hargis, you have want to add?
Personnel items, anything?
Nothing significant, just lots of people that we've been hiring to fill our classified and certificated openings. Some coaches on there, some salary increases, certificated staff moving over in columns.
I do want to just make one comment. Thank Jimmy Johnson for agreeing to take over the athletic administrator's position. I think that's probably going to be a very good positive situation for us to get back to where our programs were a few years ago. And I think he's a good one to lead in, continue on for what Mr. Shevlin was trying to do. Do I hear a motion? Motion from Mr. Moore.
I got one thing I wanted Barbara to talk about a little bit is our painting of the school. We, I believe as a board, was very picky and precise on what we wanted done. Drive by at 50 miles an hour, even me standing on a corner looked pretty good. So I stopped and I pulled over and I got out and I walked the whole school. And it looks beautiful on certain sides. I go to the far west side, walk in that little campus area, and it's just stunning how beautiful it is. But I do have some concerns on some of our wooden buildings, our wooden classrooms. I don't believe they're being prepped right. I would like to maybe see if you can have Raleigh go back and look at them and make sure that they're being sealed, they're being scraped, all that stuff being done properly on our wooden buildings, because they did not look too good.
When did you see that?
I came in Thursday.
Last Thursday?
What's today?
Today's Wednesday.
Wednesday, you were in your meetings, Monday, I think.
Oh, Monday, okay.
Monday I came in. So I'm concerned about that.
Okay.
I want them to really look at where the wood's coming to the ground with our, should be called skirting, I guess they call it, mobile homes and stuff like that. It's coming apart. It wasn't sealed, it wasn't screwed together tight. We paid a lot of money to make sure it's done right, or they're doing to whatever we wrote the contract to. To me, we talked about having, if the wood was bad, they replace it or sand it and make it good. So just take a quick look. I'm gonna walk around again. Tomorrow I'm gonna be busy in the morning, but I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. And maybe I can get with Raleigh and sort of look around a little bit. But
I will share this with Raleigh. I know that one area, Mr. Bender, that they are still working on, or don't believe they've done it yet, and Robert, jump in, is the ramps. They are gonna be redoing a lot of the ramps.
and how about the doorways going in? Are they gonna be painted, the metal doorways going into the separate campuses and the quads? Are they gonna be done? Because I mean, I walk out of that west quad and it's beautiful, but when I walk in, I see that old door that's not, the big walkway that's not painted. The door and that, is that gonna be painted too?
I'm not entirely sure, but I
I believe the whole campus is going to be
Okay.
painted. I know that they were talking about starting the, placing the room numbers and things, and the, like, library, et cetera, all labeling all the different rooms. They were about to start that this week, weren't they, in some areas?
yeah, really want, I think that's right.
Just when you walk into the quads, the doors and the entryway there are not painted. Just wanna make sure they are, because if they're not, let's see if we can get.
Could you tell that the big monument out front of the school was painted?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So it looks,
Really good.
and it's looking really great. It's just, I had concern on, I think it was the old cafeteria that's in there, the wooden buildings around the gym, the classrooms around the gym. We really need to take a deep look at them, because they don't look like they were prepped to me. And they're just sprayed.
Okay, we will bring it to the attention of Raleigh tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I may get a big, motion that we adjourn.
Well, we're gonna have, first of all, we gotta vote on the, all the personnel items.
Okay, I said
We
motion.
are we good? We all agree? All right, one absent? All right. Bender went to
Thank you
adjourn.
so much.
Who seconded that one?
More.
Moore did it? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We're done.
Who was the second on the